It's true you don't see many dwarf women. And in fact, they are so alike in voice and appearance that they're often mistaken for dwarf men. It's the beards.
It was said by Gimli that there are few dwarf women, probably no more than a third of the whole people. They seldom walk abroad except at great need. They are in voice and appearance, and in garb if they must go on a journey, so like to the dwarf men that the eyes and ears of other people cannot tell them apart. This has given rise to the foolish opinion among men that there are no dwarf women, and that the dwarves grow out of stone. The Ngamai were ever, as they still remain, short and squat in stature. They were deep-breasted, strong in the arm, and stout in the leg, and their beards were long. Indeed, this strangeness they have, that no man nor elf has ever seen a beardless dwarf, unless he were shaven in mockery, and would then be more like to die of shame than of many other hurts that to us would seem more deadly. For the Ngamai have beards from the beginning of their lives, male and female alike. Nor, indeed, can their womankind be discerned by those of other race, be it in feature, or in gait, or in voice, nor in any wise, save this, that they go not to war, and seldom, save at direst need, issue from their deep bowers and halls.
We're in a train of a couple of hundred dwarves, that's all that's left, with only 3 dwarf women. So that's all we've got left to populate the entire dwarf nation of the Blue Mountains, of which Tammy is one. So, see you later.
I love the bearded ladies. The only kind I like.
It's the only kind you've got.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Have you seen the size of our assets? Yeah. I mean, look at those. That's something else a dwarf men like. A big asset.
I'd seen all the dwarf beards, and I've just fell in love with them. I said they were beautiful, and I want to come back and be a dwarf.
If you come back as a bearded dwarf lady, I'll be your husband.
It would be an honour, sir.
Well,
isn't it a stunner? I'm not privileged to have a goatee, unfortunately. It's okay, you're growing at the sideburns. Yes, yeah, I've got the side. I've got the Elvis Presley thing going. Oh yeah.
This video was made in response to the ongoing online debate about whether or not dwarf women have beards, which was re-sparked after a beardless dwarven woman was shown in the Rings of Power teaser trailer and in the Vanity Fair First Looks photo shoot. I wanted to share some of my own perspective based on the quotes I read aloud at the start of this video. Some have claimed that the idea of dwarf women with beards is a fan theory based on the joke Aragorn made in Jackson's Two Towers movie. However, my vision of dwarf women with beards comes from Tolkien himself in the books that I read before the movies even came out. The quote from the appendices of Return of the King states that dwarf women are practically indistinguishable from dwarf men in voice and appearance, but as dwarven men's magnificent beards are repeatedly described in Tolkien's works, this would lead us to believe that dwarven women must also have some form of facial hair, or it would be relatively easy to tell them apart. The quote from the History of Middle-earth regarding the Ngamai explicitly states that dwarf women do indeed have beards, and that a dwarf would be likely to die of shame if he or she were to be shaven in mockery. As Tolkien scholar Corey Olsen pointed out in a tweet he made after his IGN interview aired on YouTube, a note from Tolkien was published in a new book called Nature of Middle-earth that said regarding beards, all male dwarves had them. I do not see that as a denial of the possibility that at least some dwarven women had some form of facial hair. However, that's just my personal conclusion when taking the other 2 quotes into account. I did see a comment saying that it would be far too difficult for a creator to tackle selling a bunch of short, bearded, stocky women to audiences, but I've selected clips from the making of the Hobbit Trilogy in the Dane Ironfoot documentary, showing that beards on dwarven women can actually work, and in my opinion anyway, can look really cool. I also love that they even went to the effort to show dwarven women in the same garb as the dwarven men when they were migrating to the Blue Mountains, true to what I believe was Tolkien's original vision. It is admittedly unfortunate that they couldn't use more of the dwarven woman footage in the final versions of the actual films, but hopefully what remains of the footage can be preserved here in this video for people to enjoy and appreciate. It can also be found on disc 2 of the Battle of Five Armies Extended Edition bonus discs. Thank you for watching.
Ah, yes, the dwarves that go swimming with little hairy women.